Hi everybody, and welcome to our new weekly program, Not Impossible. I am Ziad Mahmoud, will be your host for this exciting and entertaining program. Let me start by briefing you on what this episode is all about. As we all know, life is full of challenges. However, only a few of us can defeat these challenges and overcome obstacles. So in this episode, we will talk more and more about our guest. And also, we will focus more on his South and North Pole expedition during the late 80s. Also, we will try to find some answers from our guest about the thing that made him to take this step and what is the biggest obstacle that he has overcome, as well as what is the major turning point in his life. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be seeing the report together, so please stay tuned for an exciting episode.
When they fall apart, to the memory concern of pollution definitely shines the name of Dr. ابراهيم عالم, who is considered to be the first Saudi went and climbed to South and North Pole. Dr. عالم, like everyone, is the result and a mixture of what he saw and lived in his life. But differently to many other people, the thousands of people he spoke with and the hundreds of cultures he met are so precious to him that he can respect them all appreciation and treasuring every good thing in new people, ideas, language, and traditions. He's also an example of good education and respect for everyone, a witness of good education, a person who loves what he does and wants to share it with the whole world. Dr. عالم, a man of great love and passion for our planet and our life on this earth. He is a leading scientist and outspoken advocate of our shared responsibility for planet Earth and future generations. In all his actions, he is guided by his strong belief in God the Almighty, portraying Islam as a religion of tolerance and mutual respect, living an example that convinces non-Muslims to embrace Islam.
Hi again, and welcome back to our new weekly program, Not Impossible. So that was a report about our guest for today's episode, who doesn't know the impossible. Our guest for today's episode is considered to be the first Saudi man who went to North and South Pole. He feels that, in spite of his great achievements that we all know, he didn't provide any of valuable things, and for this reason, he is always in a struggle or in conflict with himself so as to achieve the best for his community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome for our guest for today's episode, Dr. ابراهيم عالم. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. ابراهيم.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And also joining us on this episode, Dr. Samer Arrar, who is working as a chief psychologist at Al Maharat Center. So let's give our welcome to Dr. Samer Arrar. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Samer.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Dr. ابراهيم عالم, how did the idea of this journey come up?
The idea of the journey coincides with my view of the planet Earth.
Okay.
It's the ship that we are all living in, and we're living in a cabinet called Saudi Arabia.
All right.
So all countries are cabinet. The objective of this expedition was basically to show international unity, regardless of who you are, where you come from, what's your color, and what are your beliefs. This is number one. And the other one is to utilize science to serve humanity. And we did some environmental research which has been published in Marine Pollution Bulletin in the 1990s.
Okay.
And we collected a lot of samples, plus the public awareness all over the globe through lectures, through TVs, and through this program, of course.
All right, okay. Okay, can you please describe the journey in detail?
Of course.
That was in late 80s, right?
That was 1899 and
1988.
89.
1989. Okay.
1989.
Sure.
And we arrived at South Pole, by the way, on the 12th of January 1990. and the North Pole was on the 8th of August 1990. So
Okay.
the same year we had both side or top and bottom of the
I
planet.
see. Okay.
I was there.
All right. Okay, Dr. Samer Arrar, what do people need in general to fulfill their dream?
Of course, whenever you have a dream
Right.
and you want to make this dream come true, first you have to have a faith,
Okay.
yes, in your dream. And having a faith means three things. The first thing is to believe in what you have. What you have means your strengths, your gifts, your talents, your skills, your knowledge.
So you have to realize, you have to be aware
You have
about
to.
these elements. About
Okay,
this.
first, yeah, you have to be aware of what you have,
Okay.
and you are certain about what you have. You know, the doubt should not come to your mind about, you know, the strengths that you have.
Right.
So you can utilize what you have in what you want. So this is the first thing. The second thing, you have to believe in what you are going to do, the goal you are going to achieve.
Like desire.
Well, maybe you have some kind of vision or an idea
Okay.
that you think you are capable of
Doing this.
doing this.
Right.
So, you know, the goal or this dream actually must be of great value. Like with Dr. Ibrahim, you know, he had a dream about making good contribution to the world. So he was very dedicated to that, okay? And also he was very, you know, appreciating to such goal that he will have a good impact on the environment.
I see.
You see, this is the second thing. The third thing is you have to believe in the unique relevance between what you have and what you are going. You are the right person for this task.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
So if we add up these three factors, it will create the faith
Very good.
that you need to actualize your dream.
This video with public opinions, and then we'll be back to Not Impossible. There are much more excitements coming up.
Of course, it's not impossible.
It is impossible. Impossible.
No, I think it is impossible. Before 30 years, everything is very hard.
Impossible.
Yes, impossible.
Okay, by the way, how did you get nominated for this journey?
Well, this journey, I was nominated through the Research Institute of King Fahd
Okay.
of Petroleum and University. And it coincides with my objectives in life. And that's basically believing that this planet is a ship that countries are only cabinet in.
Right.
And Saudi Arabia is one of the cabinet. And I'm citizen of Saudi Arabia and citizen of the globe. And to survive, we have to think of all the citizens of the ship. So this is a dream that brings people together of different background, different beliefs, different color, different everything. We were 7 countries from all over the world.
Right.
And the kingdom was representing the Arab and the Muslim world. When I was approached by the director of the Research Institute, Dr. Abdullah Dabbagh, I was almost flattered and so happy and agreeing instantly. And I guess he chose me because no one is as crazy as me to agree to go to that
Did you expect it?
expedition. No, it was just a surprise of life.
Okay.
And we went through a lot of reading before going
Okay.
there, a lot of training, and a lot of psychological and physical challenges. Just to give you an example, when I left, my weight was 84 kilos. When I came
84
back,
kilos.
84 kilos. When I came back, it was 62. And it was healthier then than the 84 kilos.
Okay, Dr. Ibrahim, what made you decide to take this step?
Well, definitely it was a dream coming true.
Okay.
And as the doctor mentioned earlier, it's what you have and what you want to have with what you have. in my simple view. I didn't know much about, I come from a hot country, from the
Right.
desert,
Right.
and it's quite different in all aspects. So I have to do a lot of reading in the library about the risk, about Antarctica, what it is, and so on. And then we had to go through an exhausting, very serious training for physical fitness, number one, and number two, for alpine skiing and cross-country skiing. I'm sure Western people know the difference between the two, because we would be facing both of them. And if you wouldn't believe, we would know about survival on ice, how to survive on ice, how to survive in a ship. There was part in the ship, there was part in the aeroplane, which was the first landing on a DC-6 on blue ice. You have to learn about your clothes. It was layer, and what kind of activity you are doing to wear what kind of clothes. You have to know about the risk that you could be facing, and that could be fatal, by the way. You know, if you have a crevasse or with the wind that would go like 300 kilometers, as reported in the French station, or the low temperature as minus 80 degrees, as reported in Vostok, the Russian station. These are documented cases. I didn't expect it, but it's possible. So in that regard, you know you are going to high risk.
Right.
But you have to do every single step very seriously.
I see.
Just like an airplane taking off, the pilot have to be careful, operation and so on. And we had people who didn't care, and they end up with a frostbite and lost their organs, actually the toes of the foot.
I see. I see.
So you have to be very, very dedicated, very careful, very serious, no jokes.
I see.
It's survival and it's accomplishment.
I see. Okay, let me ask you this question, Dr. Ibrahim. What have attracted your attention when you just arrived there, to South and North part?
Well, it's
First
very,
thing that attracted your attention.
Oh yes, it was quite nice. Number one, I was lucky to get down the first on the snow. And that was when I felt the snow, it looks like my country with a white color instead of the golden color.
Right.
And I was feeling I was standing on the biggest ice cube on the planet.
I
Honest
see.
to God, this was my feeling.
Okay.
And number two, when we had the blizzard, I usually in Tehran when I was a student, I enjoyed the sun hitting my face just to
I
feel the
see.
difference. And the blizzard was similar, and the snow was getting in my eyes, but it was so nice.
Completely
because
different now.
It melts, it melts, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
The big difference was it melts in the ice,
Right.
but sand will stay in the ice, and it's not painful, it was quite pleasant. So that was just a fascinating feeling. And I can talk for hours and for days about the beauty of the experience.
I see. Okay, back to you, Dr. Samir Arrar. How, from your point of view, how did Dr. Alim achieve his goal or achieve his dream? Let's put it this way.
Well, clearly he had the good and the strong intention to accomplish this big goal. And when we talk about intention setting, we're talking about two elements. The first element is visualizing your dream.
Okay, this is very important.
This is
Visualizing
number
your
one, you
dream.
know, in
Like
setting.
to picture your dream.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this first step or first component of your intention can be translated into what? Into a long...
Actions?
No, to view a long-term goal.
Okay.
So we are here turning the dream into a long-term goal and then breaking down this long-term goal into doable, workable, and manageable objectives. So these objectives can be done like step by step down the road to accomplish the general and big goal. So apparently he was prepared to face the stages of this big challenge.
I see, okay.
He knows that on the road there are obstacles, there are challenges, there are tools that they need to utilize in order to do these things. So visualization is the first part of intention.
I see.
Another part of intention is the motivation.
Okay.
Motivation contribute to this behavior by giving the energy that, you know, intensify the behavior and providing the behavior with direction. So here we have the vision, we have the energy, and then we have the direction for the behavior. We know where we're going to or we're heading to. So all together make us certain and committed to follow through on the track.
I see. Okay. This question came to my mind, Dr. Samer. Just tell me, please, briefly, how, in general, how to overcome the disappointments in life?
Okay.
In general.
Well, first, the way you perceive disappointment plays a big role.
Okay.
Okay. If you are a good believer in Allah and that Allah is testing your patience, then you will take this into a positive.
Exactly. See, the reason I ask this question because sometimes people live like in W, up and down, you see?
Yes.
And sometimes you have a dream, and like you said, you visualize this dream, and suddenly you have something that can push you down. So that's why I ask you this question, because we need something to push people, like something like believing in God. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that if someone else, and I think you agree with me, and Dr. Ibrahim, if someone else can do something, then of course you can do it. I mean, it's a basic things.
Well, part of it is to prepare ourselves to face such disappointment by building up a cognitive system that take into account that on the road of success, you may make mistakes.
Okay,
You
we should
get-
accept it.
Exactly.
Okay, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And you know, once you have such, you know, understanding and expectation that, you know, on the turning points of every stage,
Right.
you might get
Something normal.
a
Right.
disappointment
Very good.
or, you know, turn, you know, over whatever. So you are prepared to, you know,
You have to be well prepared for this.
well prepared
Of course, it's
and
something
retry
normal.
again
Exactly.
and benefit from your mistakes.
Exactly. Okay, Dr. Ibrahim, what was your biggest obstacle that you had to overcome during journey and also in life in general?
My philosophy in life, and I just happened to write it today in Twitter,
Oh,
to
really?
share it with
Okay.
everybody. I never let negative energy overwhelm me. I always make failure to success,
Okay.
and I change it to positive energy. I tell you,
Okay.
I hope the whole world listen to me today. I have an F in chemistry, failure. For the first time in my life, I have F in my life when I was a
Right.
freshman. And that was the challenge. I didn't whine and cry. In chemistry, who taught chemistry in university and who did
MashaAllah.
research and who applied chemistry on all different sciences for the benefit of humanity. And this is how you flip the coin, or this is how
see.
you twist to 180 degree.
Exactly.
Because if you just stop and wait, that's the end of the world. It's not the
And
end
you
of the world.
cry.
The world is moving, whether you are there or not.
Right.
So
And you blame other
that's number
people.
one.
Right.
The risks were quite high, and my kids were small, young.
I see.
And the only worry I had then is the psychological overcoming. For 7 months. And it's a good lesson, by the way, to be away for 7 months. I'll tell you at the end. Number two, what kind of risk you are going to. I'm not a hero, but I swear, honest to God, I could have lost my life 3 times.
Oh, really?
And each time didn't make me, once it's coming, okay, it's coming. Yeah. What could be? What can I do? Okay, and number 3, you have to fit yourself physically and
Right.
mentally to face the difficulties that you will be living.
Right.
The maximum torture was being away from my family. And some worries came to my 3 kids then. And how I overcome it, with some kind of my beliefs, and I'm sure everybody has his beliefs to do it. We had risk in the airplane to lose. We could have lost our life. And Mesner was with us, who was a very famous mountain climber, and he was worried. And even I can mention names of people who were, and everybody was worried. And even some, when they back up, I didn't back up because I didn't want the media to make an issue of our part of the world that they ran away. So it was either death or make it, and we can make it too.
Right.
And number 3 was dealing with situation of what you learned theoretically. We had the theoretical.
I see.
We had the training, and then now you are there.
I see.
And it taught me something very nice, by the way.
Right.
You discover yourself.
Right.
When you are in tough situations.
Exactly. Yes.
You discover yourself. This is number 1. And number 2, you know the value of life. You know the value of
how
everything.
to value life. Right.
And you know how beautiful this planet.
Exactly.
How different you are in a place like you are in another planet.
Right.
But yet you are on the same planet.
But you appreciate other things, right?
You appreciate I appreciate everything. Even the ugly I look for the beauty in.
Very good.
So that's a philosophy of life.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just to be successful, to be positive. Always, never look back. Even if you are successful, look forward. And I have dreams for the future too.
Okay. Let me ask you this question in briefly, please. Tell us about your returning back. When you just returned back from this trip.
Yes.
Yeah. How was it?
Many surprises. First of all, it was all day.
Okay.
And you feel time has stopped because the sun was just almost in the same place. And when we started to see darkness, it was something we missed a long time ago. And it was very funny to see the sunset and sunrise in 15 minutes in the south and not east or west.
Right.
Then we met the first human creature, I mean, which was a kangaroo in Australia.
Right.
And when we saw the lights of the city, because they've been a long time, it was artificial and different.
Right.
And the most amazing, when I came home, I looked at my kids. I accomplished something, but they grew up this much. And that was a missing part in my life.
Ah, okay.
Which I miss. So I hope people, when they have people who work for them and they leave their families away, they consider these people are sacrificing part of their family life.
I see.
For living somewhere else in the world, which is full of immigrants and people who are working outside.
I see. Okay, what was your major turning point in life?
I had too many turning points.
I know that.
One after one. But life is never stagnant. This planet was never the same a million years ago. It will never be the same in the future.
Right.
And this is the way things are. You know, the planet is, every year, the planet Earth is slower by 1 second. So if you count the number of seconds per year, you know when the planet will stop. You know, just theoretically speaking.
Right.
So I feel the sky is the limit. Ziad, the sky is the limit. You set your sky. It could be down there, or it could be infinity. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I'm talking myself.
Right.
Honest to God, I'm talking to myself.
Okay.
What I believe in my heart.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Back to you, Dr. Samer. How can we benefit the society from these kind of lessons? For example, today we have a lesson from Dr. Ibراهيم عالم. How can we benefit the schools, community, clubs, private sectors, really government sectors in general?
Well, clearly he had a great experience, not only utilizing his very good knowledge about science, but also his experiment in the field. When he just mentioned that when he reached there and he faced a different kind of world over there, you know, all those moments he can re-describe again to the new generation, to the students, to everybody who is interested in gaining knowledge and getting the lesson about how to protect the human life.
So you think the school should be aware about this kind of lessons, right?
Yes.
It will give them like a push, motivation,
exactly.
incentive.
It's going to be a big asset
Really, huh?
Yes, for the educational curriculum and the system that this Dr. Ibrahim experience should be taught
Right.
to students in different stages
Yes.
to learn that the value of gaining knowledge and the value of protecting our life.
I see. Okay.
So it's very beneficial that we translate this experience into, you know, information, you know, that is provided for those people
And
who are
also
growing
the
up.
concept, Dr. Ibrahim and Dr. Sami, the concept of nothing is impossible in this life. I think the only thing impossible is when you decide. It's something when it comes from your brain that I cannot do this. But I think everything is possible in this life.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Ibrahim, what is in your plan in the future? I'm sure you have many things in your agenda, right?
My future plan, I know the result I'll not see,
Okay.
but we have the seed. It's a call for the whole cities of the world for a marathon
All right.
to make the planet Earth not only the blue planet, but the green blue planet.
All right.
And I hope all the cities will be in a green status
You think
environmentally.
it is possible to have this?
If everybody set the target and set the date and has a plan, which we are
Okay.
working at,
All right.
it's a
okay.
voluntary plan, and we have
Okay.
many people all over the world, and I hope the prominent man who's under patronage will be supporting us. It will be a call to the whole world to do it, setting a date
I
for
see.
being a green city,
I see.
and there will be activity every year to keep it alive.
Dr. Ibrahim, after this great achievement that which you have made, mashallah, tabarakallah, how do you feel, how do you look at life in general?
Well, life is a gift.
Are you
of-
satisfied?
No, I don't know if the word satisfied is the proper word.
Okay,
Of course, I have self-satisfaction to do more. Not satisfied
Okay.
what I did.
very good.
This is what I'm. What
But you
makes
still
me
have this
satisfied.
conflict.
Of course, it's
with
an
yourself.
urge. It's an ambition.
What is next? What is next?
What's next? Yeah.
Right.
I never look back. I had so
Right.
many things in my life.
Mm.
Yes, I remember what I did, but I'm not going to sit with it. I'm going to look for the future, what I can do more in the rest of my life. And my target now is to make the cities of the world
Very good.
green cities,
Very good.
with the idea of a green blue planet,
I see.
which we call for anyway.
Okay, Dr. Samer, since you work in the field of self-development, what the strength point of Dr. Ibrahim Alim are?
Well, he has many good strengths actually
MashaAllah,
in his personality.
Okay.
We can mention some, you know, and we can also give, you know, additional information on that. The first thing about his personality is the perseverance
Mm-hmm.
and being patient with achieving his goal.
Very important, this.
This is very important.
Right.
Yeah. And also he had the vision.
Okay.
Okay, from the very beginning, he felt that he has a message
Mm-hmm.
in this life. So there's a purpose in his life. And this gives the meaning to his life that he's going to achieve something very valuable to not only to himself but to the world.
If I can use this word, like he feels he's hungry to do this kind
Exactly. He has
of
a
work.
strong drive,
Exactly, yes.
yes, to accomplish something very valuable, to submit it to the world.
Okay. I think maybe people like Dr. Ibrahim, even when they sleep, I'm not sure, maybe we can ask him, sometimes even they think,
Yeah.
even when they sleep, brain is working, brain is busy all the time.
Yes.
Well, I think everybody is thinking. It depends what you are thinking.
Okay.
But anyway, I tell you one thing. You take
Right.
you take some words of your dictionary.
Right.
Take the word failure from your dictionary. Make it an experiment, and you will do it again, and do it again.
Okay.
Never say failed. That's real advice.
Just remove it, I see. Okay, what is the lesson we learn from Dr. Ibrahim Alim experience? Today we have a lesson.
Yes.
We learned something today from Dr. Ibrahim experience.
What many people thought that it's impossible for a Muslim and an
Arab.
person to go on such a huge trip
And that was like
in back
22 or 23 years
Yes.
ago.
exactly. It can happen again with the new ideas, with the new ambitions, with new discoveries.
But the human being is the human being. The same.
Yes, exactly. So we are all equal, you know,
Exactly.
human, whether you know, European or Arab or American.
Exactly, yes.
You know, all human have intelligence.
Exactly.
What they need is the motivation and the will to
the will.
benefit from
Yes.
their
Exactly.
intelligence and their knowledge.
I see. Okay, Dr. Ibrahim Alim, what sort of message you would like to convey to public, to community, to private sector, government sector, to everybody, to students,
Okay. When you have
even the kids for 6 years old?
Sure. When you have a building, you have a block. So I talk to the block, to the human, to the individual.
Okay.
And I say, start with yourself. You make the difference. It's not my line. It's Sheikh Mohammed Rashid who built Dubai line. And he did it, and so is Mahathir of Malaysia. That's the way we start. It's my best and the best interest I get in Dubai, in my office in Dubai, my life in Dubai, going there. This statement, it's better than money. Start with yourself, you make the difference, because the real treasure is not the money, it's yourself. Find yourself.
But I like the money.
It's good to have it.
Right.
But if you run after money and it becomes
Right.
your target, all your work is only how to get the most.
Exactly.
If you perfect your work, money
Right.
will come.
Exactly.
And money comes to me, and I don't know how it comes, but I know how to spend it.
Okay, Dr. Ibrahim and Dr. Simon, let's take some questions from the audience. So, does anyone have any questions?
Yes, please.
Okay, could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Dr. Ali Zubaidi.
Okay.
I am animal health specialist and now with environment. I am Cambridge graduate as well as from London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine.
Okay.
That's my question is a comment and a question. My comment is that we in this country, Saudi Arabia, as well as in the Arab world, God gifted us with sun, desert, and sea. Would Dr. Ibrahim later on comment on how we can efficiently utilize this SDS concept to produce greener ecosystem? And my comment is that for the past 50 or 60 years, we have been living in a jungle of chemistry and chemical pollution. It is so ironic that the speaker, Dr. Alim, was or is a chemist and now an environmentalist. How can you bring those two dichotomies together?
Okay, Dr. Ibrahim.
For the first part of the question,
Okay.
it's basically sustainability.
Okay.
And we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We start where the rest of the people has stopped.
Right.
And it's true, we are rich in sun, we are rich in natural resources. And it's about time those who sell technology to us to start having R&D here with the development of the international community, including the countries that is hosting them. So that's the way to go. R&D always moves and moves and moves to the best. That's the question number one. About wondering about chemistry and chemicals and me, you know, Dr. Ali is chemistry.
Okay.
So it's everything chemistry. I don't know why can I dissociate. Environment is chemistry, and
Right.
chemistry is chemistry, and industry is chemistry. And basically, by the way, my specialty
Right.
is what do I give me any sample, I tell you what it is and how much of each
Very
thing
good.
it has.
I see.
I can do it in peace. I can do it in
Very
non-peace.
I
And
see.
I hope I never be in non-peace. I'm a peaceful man.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions?
Yes.
Okay.
I am engineer Ibrahim Mustafa,
Okay.
IT and IS consultant. I have one question for Dr. Ibrahim. I should be grateful if you comment on air quality, as we are living in a polluted environment.
Air quality.
Well, our relation with the environment is 240 kilograms. Everybody has inside and outside of his body daily 240 kilograms. 180 cubic meter of air,
Okay.
and about, which is 208 kilograms of water and food. Now, if that amount is coming in and it's 1 part per million contaminated or polluted, and only one tenth of the parts per million stay in my body, in 10 days I'll have 1 part per million of contaminant in my body.
I see, okay.
If you think about it, 100 days, it means 10 parts per million. So, and we live inside, I mean indoor, 95% of our time, especially in hot countries. It's either in the house or the car or in the office. So this environment have to be healthy. And this is the call for green building of the world. To have healthy environment, health, safety, and sometimes you need security. So with these 3 factors, or 4 factors actually, you should have environment and intake and outtake that is clean, that is safe to your body, that is safe to humanity, safe to life. We don't think about humanity only. We think about life. Life is before human, by the way, on the planet.
I see, okay.
So this is as simple as I can say. I can give you a lecture if you like for the whole question he asked.
Okay. Very good. Okay, let's take some input from the experts, okay? Now, according to Dr. Ahmed Ashur, ex-director of King Fahd Hospital in Jeddah, he said, I am really proud of my friend Dr. Ibrahim Alim, the real scientist, and I respect his continuous determination to achieve his noble objective and goals for the benefit of his nation and society. Also, his continuous suffering for achieving these goals despite of the obstacle and difficulties that he faces sometimes, but he always insists to reach with his country to a healthy and green environment, not only his country but all countries. And also I have another input from Mrs. Roberta. She's a lawyer, I believe, from Dubai World Trade Center, and she said, describing Dr. Alim in a few words is difficult as counting the stars in the sky, okay? It's true, he's a man who does not know the impossible, a man of science, of enlightenment, a person with fascinating, great knowledge and with a deep, deep personality. He's a volcano of new ideas with no fears for new challenges, and although he says that his work is a gift to humanity, he does not completely realize that in reality he is a gift to humanity himself. Okay, let me give you the last one here. According to Professor Farid Abdurrahman, director of Qatar Natural History Museum or Qatar Museum Authority, he said, I first met Professor Ibrahim Alim shortly after the 1991 Gulf War and was deeply impressed by his professional skills, his outstanding personality, and his uncompromising dedication to environmental conservation. During one of the worst environmental disasters in history, he took a lead in coordinating international efforts at restoring the affected ecosystems. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of our episode for today. Last but not least, on your behalf, I would like to thank our guests who joined us today in the studio and making this an even more exciting program. Let's give a big hand to everyone in the studio, including our brilliant director, Amina Abdul Karim, and the crew who are providing an amazing support to make this an enjoyable program. Don't forget to join us next week, same time, same station, and until we meet again, it's a goodbye.